Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a topic that really sits right at the intersection of our daily digital lives and, well, the cutting edge of finance. We're talking about the rapid evolution of digital payments, how money moves in the 21st century, and maybe more importantly, where it might be headed next. Imagine the sheer, the truly global reach of platforms like Facebook and Instagram, okay? Now, combine that with XRP, a digital asset specifically engineered by Ripple Labs for ultra-fast, low-cost global payments. We're going to explore a really fascinating article today. It discusses a potential strategic alliance between Meta XRP. Our mission for this deep dive is to sort of pull out the most important insights. What could a partnership like this mean for the future of digital transactions? And really critically, what could it mean for you? Is this alliance just, speculation? Or could it represent a genuine tipping point for mainstream crypto adoption? That's the big question we'll be wrestling with. So let's set the scene a bit. When you think about the immense user base of Meta's platforms, billions of people, alongside the specific, highly efficient tech of XRP. Well, you can immediately see the potential scale of this idea, right? The article suggests that such a huge alliance would have some truly ambitious core objectives. What exactly would they be aiming for with this kind of collaboration?
Right. What really stands out in the source material is how it frames those overarching goals. It's not just about, small improvements. It points to three pretty transformative objectives: dramatically improving global payment efficiency, significantly expanding XRP's adoption, and innovating entirely new financial services. Things that just aren't really possible with the traditional systems we have now.
Okay.
And when you drill down into the specific aims, the vision is, well, it's pretty clear. Integrating XRP payments directly into Meta's platforms. That means users can make secure, efficient payments, transfers, right there in the apps they already use every day.
Right, inside Facebook or Instagram.
Wow, exactly. It also highlights the goal of slashing transaction costs for both users and businesses, which, let's be honest, is a massive friction point today, especially internationally.
Yep.
The third specific aim is driving mass adoption for XRP, making it a truly widespread payment method, not just niche. And ultimately, it all comes back to enhancing the user experience, making payments faster, safer, and frankly, more convenient than anything we've really seen at this kind of scale.
That does sound incredibly ambitious. You mentioned dramatically improving payment efficiency, but I mean, we already have lots of digital payment apps, right? They feel pretty fast. What would make this alliance uniquely more efficient or beneficial for users compared to what's already out there? Are we talking seconds versus minutes, or is it something more fundamental?
That's a really excellent point. And yeah, it's more fundamental. When we talk about faster payments with XRP, it's not just shaving off a few seconds here or there. It's about enabling transactions to truly settle in, like 3 to 5 seconds,
Not
globally.
about time. That's perfect.
Exactly. It bypasses the traditional, often clunky network of intermediaries. Think banks, SWIFT, all the layers that slow down conventional cross-border payments.
Right.
So this isn't just about speed for speed's sake. It's a fundamentally different way of moving value around the world. Think about, say, a small business owner. Maybe they rely on Meta, WhatsApp maybe, for their main communication, perhaps in a remote village. If they could suddenly receive international payments in seconds with really minimal fees, that's not just a tech upgrade. That's a genuine economic empowerment.
Yeah, I can see that.
It could unlock totally new business models for creators on Instagram, for instance, or even just small cross-border remittances between family members that used to get eaten up by fees. It's potentially a foundational shift for a truly global, interconnected economy.
That really paints a picture, a powerful vision. So, okay, moving past those big goals,
Yeah.
what are the other tangible benefits we could expect, especially for us, the everyday users, if this alliance actually happens?
Well, the source details quite a wide array of benefits beyond just the speed and cost savings. For example, the integration could spark genuine financial service innovation, meaning the combined scale of Meta and the specific technology of XRP could create entirely new financial products, things we haven't really thought of yet. Maybe new forms of microlending or innovative ways to manage digital assets directly within your social media profile.
Interesting.
And another incredibly important benefit highlighted is improved financial inclusion. This alliance could potentially provide much easier, more secure access to financial services for people and businesses worldwide who are, currently underserved by traditional banks. It could bridge a pretty significant gap.
That would be huge.
Definitely. The article also points to increased transparency. This comes from XRP's distributed ledger technology. Imagine a public, unchangeable record of transactions. It makes it much harder for fraud to occur, offering greater visibility and hopefully trust. And finally, it suggests significantly enhanced security. Integrating XRP could bolster the security of financial transactions on Meta's platforms, protecting users from threats and just giving them greater peace of mind. These aren't just like abstract technical features. They translate directly into a potentially more reliable, more accessible financial experience for everyone.
Those benefits do sound compelling. Really transformative, actually. But, of course, for something this massive, the path isn't just a straight line, is it? The article also dives into some pretty formidable obstacles. How does it even imagine starting something this complex? What about the development phases, let alone those huge hurdles?
You're absolutely right. It's not simple. The source outlined a very structured, sort of phased approach to development. It would likely kick off with a thorough viability analysis. Basically, can this even work? Assessing the tech, the commercial side, identifying opportunities, and the big challenges.
Thanks.
If that checks out, the next phase would be integration design. That's where the technical solution gets hammered out. How do you seamlessly weave XRP into Meta's existing platforms, making sure it's secure, efficient? After that, you'd have rigorous testing and launch. You can't mess this up at that scale.
Right.
And then it's not over. Ongoing promotion and education would be crucial to actually get people using it and understanding the benefits.
Right.
But as you said, the article doesn't gloss over the significant challenges. First and foremost, regulation and compliance. Just navigating the incredibly complex, often very different financial and crypto regulations across all the countries Meta operates in. That's a massive undertaking.
Huge.
Then there are the critical concerns around security and privacy. You have to guarantee the safety of financial transactions and sensitive user data on such a vast network. The stakes are incredibly high.
Absolutely.
Adoption and education also remains a continuous challenge. Getting billions of people globally to trust and embrace a new payment method and truly understand how it works and why it's better, that requires a monumental effort.
Yeah, changing habits is hard.
Exactly. And finally, there's competition and market dynamics. You've got existing players in digital payments, other cryptocurrencies. Meta and XRP would need to confront that competition and constantly adapt to a rapidly changing financial and tech landscape.
Okay, you mentioned regulation, but it feels like saying navigate complex regulations is a huge understatement, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're talking different legal frameworks in almost every country, concerns about money laundering, KYC, AML, consumer protection rules, even just how cryptos are classified. It varies wildly. How does the article even suggest they'd tackle that kind of global regulatory maze?
That's precisely the million-dollar question, isn't it? Or maybe the billion-dollar question here. And the article absolutely acknowledges it as perhaps the single biggest hurdle. It really emphasizes this isn't just about getting licenses here and there. It's about potentially needing to help shape new regulatory frameworks. It would require continuous dialogue with governments, financial authorities, central banks worldwide. The core challenge is the sheer lack of global uniformity. What's perfectly fine and regulated in one country might be restricted or gray or totally undefined somewhere else.
So it's not a quick fix?
Not at all. The approach outlined is definitely a long-term, iterative process. It involves armies of lawyers, compliance experts, direct engagement with policymakers, basically trying to build trust and clarity across dozens, maybe hundreds of jurisdictions. It essentially suggests they'd have to be pioneers in global regulatory navigation for anything on this kind of scale.
Wow, okay. So despite those really significant challenges, those massive hurdles, what new doors could this alliance potentially open? What are the exciting opportunities it presents that might just make all that effort, all that regulatory headache worthwhile?
Well, the article does look ahead. It points to several forward-looking opportunities that speak directly to our central question about mainstream adoption. One major area is expansion to new markets.
How so?
Well, XRP integration, with its low cost and speed, could potentially help Meta expand its payment services into regions that were previously untapped or just harder to reach. Places where traditional banking is expensive or slow. Suddenly, billions of new users might become accessible for efficient digital payments.
Okay, wider reach.
Exactly. Secondly, there's enormous potential for new product development. The combination of Meta's massive user base and distribution with XRP's specific payment tech could lead to co-creating genuinely groundbreaking financial products and services. Think about embedded payment systems for creators during live streams, or maybe micro-lending for small businesses conducted entirely within the Meta ecosystem, things like that.
Interesting possibilities.
And lastly, it highlights improved collaboration. An alliance like this, Even just the attempt would foster a collaborative environment. Meta and Ripple sharing knowledge, resources. It could push the development of more efficient, more secure digital payments forward for the entire industry, not just themselves.
So let's try and tie this all together. What does this all mean for our central question? Is this alliance merely speculative fantasy, or could it actually be the tipping point for mainstream crypto adoption? We've definitely explored the vast potential here, and the equally significant complexities. Enhancing payments, financial inclusion, huge upsides. But then there are the regulatory nightmares, security challenges, massive obstacles. It seems like this partnership, if it ever came to be, could fundamentally reshape how we think about and use digital payments. It could really move crypto, or at least this specific application, squarely into the mainstream.
Yeah, I think what's truly fascinating here, stepping back a bit, is how this whole potential alliance really highlights the ongoing evolution of money itself. It pushes us to consider not just how we pay, but increasingly what we pay with. And where do the boundaries between our social platforms and our financial services actually lie? Are they blurring completely? So as you go about your day, maybe making digital transactions, paying for coffee with your phone or whatever, just consider the unseen layers of technology, regulation, and these vast global networks that make it all possible. How do you think this potential blend of massive social media scale and cryptocurrency efficiency might impact your financial future? What new possibilities could it unlock for how you interact with the global economy? It's definitely something to think about.